believe the hype.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. We're back. Thank you so much to everybody that's been staying with us and listening to us tonight. We got a lot of people who've been listening to us on TuneIn. TuneIn is first night we've actually had it. So we're definitely glad and proud to have those listeners that have tuned in there. We got the MixLR crew. So we're glad to have those folks there listening to us. And you know, Half Step and Marcus J can be heard on TuneIn, Loud City, Winamp, Shoutcast, MixLR. We got a wide variety of locations and places that you can find the flagship show that is broadcast live from the Den every single Monday night from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and rebroadcast every Friday from 7 to 9. So we're definitely glad playing a little Public Enemy tonight. Got a lot of positive feedback from that. People enjoying hearing a little revolutionary spirit from the crew here. You know, how stepping with Marcus J. So at this time, we weren't here last Monday night, which would have been 2 days after the verdict in the George Zimmerman case, where he was found not guilty of second-degree murder in the case of killing Trayvon Martin, which he always has admitted to doing, but he had been found not guilty. Now, 2 weeks ago tonight, I actually came on the air and I told you guys that I knew, based on the charges that he had been charged with, that he was going to be found not guilty. And I found it prudent to make sure that we tried to keep as much emotion out of it as possible, because at the end of the day, we're dealing with the legal system. We're dealing with a legal system that at the time of the killing, you know, the good old boy network had him walk through the precinct without a scratch on him, and then all of a sudden we start seeing him with a bloody nose and a busted up back of the head. These are the same people that sent him home and sent him home with his gun, but for the media coverage that was subsequent to those things, he was finally arrested, and then he ends up with 6 females, 5 whites on a jury, and is found not guilty of what I explained in my personal opinion as an overcharge. So I'm not surprised by the verdict. I was hurt by the verdict, but I wasn't surprised by it. What I want to do, and that's kind of what my opening statement is, a lot of angles that can be taken here, which I'll introduce with the crew and kind of get a round table. I got a special guest with us on the live line that I'll bring in here momentarily. But I'm going to start with the diva as far as the case. I mean, there's a lot to really get to, and I won't ask you a specific question because there's a lot of different angles that I want to take, and I want them to come out organically without asking you a specific question. So just overall, your thoughts on the case, your thoughts on, you know, the trial. I know a lot of talk shows have been decidedly against rehashing the facts of the case again, and I agree with that. I'm not sure that would be beneficial, but we do know that this is an emotional case, so I want to allow us as the crew as well as the listeners to have an opportunity to vent those emotions. We'll take as much time as we feel we need to get into this. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial. Hit us up on the Facebook wall, hit us up on the MixLR wall, any place that you can get your comments in. We'll make sure I put it out there. In the interest of full disclosure, I put it out there on my Facebook wall, inviting any single person, male, female, black, white, whatever your gender or nationality is, if you agreed with the verdict. Not so much agreed with it in a sense that I knew that this would come down like I was, but agree with it in the sense that this was the right thing to do. If you were someone like that, I put it out there giving folks an opportunity to come on the show and debate it. No one bit. So it's just us. I don't know what you guys' personal opinions are on the case. I can guess, but I don't know, so I won't speculate. But Diva, I'm going to give you the opportunity first to tell me what your thoughts are overall, and then we'll roundtable with the crew.
Well, I had a lot of thoughts and emotions connected to this case. I mean, it hurt me a lot. I literally cried, and I couldn't function that next day. You know, that night after and the next day was really rough for me. And I just had a hard time being able to understand how can you find this man not guilty of killing this boy, at least manslaughter, if not second degree. I mean, he did take this boy's life. He was unarmed. He followed him, he admitted 100 yards from where his car was after the dispatchers told him not to leave his car. How is he not guilty of something? And so it just really hurt. It felt like it was Trayvon was my son, that I lost him and that this murderer got away with it.
Randy?
Regarding the verdict, when I first saw it, I was very angry. I wasn't really into the actual trial. I tried to stay away from it because there were going to be a lot of negative things that, just like there are now, there are a lot of negative things being said about this young man who only wanted to go to the store to get some Skittles and go back home and watch TV. Whereas this man followed him down the street when he was told not to, got out of his car. I understand neighborhood watch, cool. If I lived in that neighborhood, I would want someone to protect where I live. However, he wasn't doing anything. He was talking on his phone, walking down the street. So I was a little angry about that. Other than that, I have a kind of attitude of what else can we do? There are a lot of people out there that are upset. Why is it just that Trayvon is getting all of this attention when there's so many young black men getting killed every day? The only thing I can think of is because the right people were there to stand up and talk about it. I mean, Richmond, of course, every time you see a murder go on in Richmond, you see Alicia Raisin on there, but she's not to the caliber of Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, and all these other people that are standing up for this. And on another note, it's also, maybe it's a part of life now, we're more likely to see black men kill each other, but when a white person kills a black man, we don't accept that. So that's the only reason I can explain why so much media attention about Trayvon Martin. But we are really seeing how racist this country is, how much people don't care about African Americans, be it Hispanics, whites. We're just seeing, and maybe it's just Florida, maybe it's just that area of the United States. However, it's just a shame of how blatant racism is still out there.
Ain't no half stepping. Marcus J is happy and proud to introduce on the live line longtime contributor. Normally we have him in the basketball segment, but tonight we got him for some socially conscious stuff. My brother, my partner, and my friend. We got my man K-Dub on the live line. What's going on, bro?
I'm good, man. What's going on with you?
Chilling, man. We got some conversation going on right now about the Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman situation, and we just heard from Brandy, and we just heard from the dating pool diva, and I want to get your thoughts on what's going on with regards to your feelings and your thoughts as far as the acquittal of George Zimmerman in the Trayvon Martin case.
Well, my feelings pretty much are the same as everybody else. I was very disappointed, but as you already know, you and I discussed this along with some other people that we were around, and we pretty much kind of knew that the way that the case was going in regards to the prosecution pushing a weak case, that more than likely he was going to be found not guilty, and that basically is what came out of it. A lot of my feelings in regards to the whole situation, and I'm going to preface this and let you, I've already talked to you, but I'm going to preface this, and I think that I'm going to take a view that maybe a good majority of the listeners are not going to like or not agree with, but, I think that, I'm not surprised, and by me not being surprised, it's similar to, I just think about other things that have gone on recently within the last, 20 years, 25 years, that would make me pose the question, or better yet, I'll make this statement. I don't have any confidence in us as black people in regards to making a change so that this type of situation does not happen again. That's just my total view. I am disappointed. I am, kind of heartbroken for the family, mostly because basically it's going to come out of a situation of them not getting justice for the tragic death of their son. But to be totally honest, like I stated a couple of shows ago, there's Trayvon Martin's happening in Pickett City, USA. There's a number of killings that's going on in a lot of our communities, Chicago and Jersey City, our hometown, specifically, that that, these types of killings, granted it is a little bit different because you're dealing with, I don't even want to say black on black crime. You're just dealing with crime per se. Granted George Zimmerman was a white Hispanic. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't come down to race in my mind. I just have a different view from a lot of people. I don't want to go too long because I have a couple of things that I wanted to say in regards to that. But my view is just, what's going to be our next move? What's the next thing? What is it that we need to do as a community, white or black or Hispanic, in order to kind of change what's been going on the last couple of decades, I guess?
I think what's frustrating for me is the mentality, the overall mentality of the masses here in this country. And one of the things that I wanted to bring up is one of the most popular talk show hosts here in our country, a fella by the name of Rush Limbaugh, said some pretty controversial things today, which he says all the time, but anybody that has heard of him before knows that he's probably the most popular talk show host in the nation, simply because a lot of people agree with him. And I think it speaks to, and I'm going to read his comments here. I could play it, but it's a long clip, and I don't have it queued up, but I do have a transcript of what he actually said, and I listened to the tape, so I know that this transcript is accurate. You guys hopefully can take my word for it. I got it off of thinkprogress.org, but it's a mentality of the majority race in this country that views the minorities a certain kind of way. Rush Limbaugh said today, if any race of people should not have guilt about slavery, it's Caucasians. The white race has probably had fewer slaves and for a briefer period of time than any other in the history of the world. Despite all of that, no other race has ever fought a war for the purpose of ending slavery, which we did. Nearly 600,000 people killed in the Civil War. It's preposterous that Caucasians are blamed for slavery when they have done more to end it than any other race and within the bounds of the Constitution to boot. Yet white guilt about slavery is still one of the dominating factors of American politics, end quote. Now, you got one of the most popular talk show hosts in the country, Rush Limbaugh, who makes these statements. And I think it speaks to the fact that a lot of our white brothers and sisters who are just absolutely clueless about what it is that goes on in the country that they live in, for them to sit here and say that they have, or for him to sit here and say that he has no, very little responsibility with regards to the overall history of the world is very sad. Now, how I bring this back to the Trayvon Martin case, you had a lot of people, including Juror B37, who just didn't seem to think that there was anything wrong with what George Zimmerman did with regards to racially profiling, which we'll come back to the racial profile statement, racially profiling this young boy and following him. And when he was told to stand down, chose to continue following this young boy. And let's be honest, Brandy, let's be honest. When you were a young girl, before you became an adult, you were told, and I'm just going to interview you here for a minute, you were told to stay away from strangers, right?
Correct.
Okay. Not only were you told to stay away from strangers, you were told if someone was trying to come after you, what were you told to do?
To scream as loud as you can, get other people's attention, and to run away. Okay.
Now, from what we know from the friend of Trayvon Martin, Rachel Gentile, Trayvon basically made aware, I guess he didn't physically scream, but he did the equivalent of screaming by being on the phone with his friend and telling his friend, hey, there's a creepy ass cracker that's following me. And not the most appropriate phrase, but that's what he said. Somebody's following me. We know this because has come out and no one's disputed it. Fair?
Right.
Fair. And we also know that George Zimmerman, when he was told to stand down, chose not to. And his next statement was, he's running. Correct?
Right.
Which is what you just said that we are all taught
to do.
So if we know that he's running, how is it that we can justify the pursuit. And once we justify the pursuit, we view George Zimmerman as the person who is standing his ground, as the person who is defending himself, instead of viewing it from the perspective not only of the victim, but of the child. What I don't understand, Brandy, and I'm going to have you comment on that, and then I'm going to come back to Kate up here. What I don't understand is how Juror B37 and her peers, the six of them, she, of course, had a book deal, which we're going to come back to what happened to her book deal in a minute. I don't understand how they can view those facts, those same facts that she spoke about with Anderson Cooper, and she still sees it as George Zimmerman standing his ground. Now, I understand that you agree with me, but help me understand, if you can, the mentality of someone that could think that way.
Other than ignorance, I really can't. I mean, it seems that she just has no care about the fact that there was a young man that died that was trying to get away from someone that was chasing her. She just has no care. She just saw George Zimmerman, and that's all that matters. The color of his skin, probably more than anything else, was what she agreed with. That probably he was right where this young black man was wrong.
Dub, I'm going to ask you the same question, but I'm going to add on to it. There's been talk, particularly from the Washington Post columnist by the name of Richard Cohen, who has come out and said that he is okay with and encourages other people to be afraid of black men, in large part because of the uniform that they wear, which includes the hoodie. I wear hoodies. You know, I was in the store yesterday with Mama J, and it didn't dawn on me when we left the house, but she had a hoodie on. And yesterday in the Richmond, Virginia area around 5:30, 6 o'clock, Brandy, what was it doing yesterday around 5:30, 6 o'clock?
Raining.
It was raining. That's why she had a hoodie on. What was going on February 26, 2012 in Sanford, Florida?
Raining.
It was raining. So, Kate, I'm going to come to you on this one. When you hear Richard Cohen of the Washington Post, who's a white male, you hear Rush Limbaugh, who's a talk show host, who's a white male. I don't want to make this about white people, but I do want to speak to the mentality of a lot of those people who follow them. I mean, how are we supposed to rationalize the safety of our young black males in this country when the masses, the 64%, view us as criminals that can be stalked by doing nothing other than walking home from the store?
That's not. See, here's the thing. First off, let me touch a couple of things. First off, it's not our. Unfortunately, it's not our problem. That's their problem. That's their misconceived problem. All right. First and secondly, we want to talk about Rush Limbaugh. Come on, man. Why are we even giving this individual the airtime to spew or better yet regurgitate a lot of his ignorant thoughts?
Well, let me just. I'm gonna let you finish. But let me just answer that one question real quick, and I'm gonna let you finish. The reason why is because he is the most popular talk show host in this nation, and there are millions and millions of people who listen to him every single day, and it speaks to the mentality of the masses of people that you see every day, that you go to work with every single day. So you cannot care about it, but the people you go to work with every single day, they care, and those are the people we got to deal with.
Again, the question was basically us. I could care less about the hate or the ignorance that he spews. Keep in mind, this is the same guy that said, and I'm going to go ahead and walk this line. This is the same guy that said that white people can say the N-word with the A instead of the ER. But don't he know that if you were a white person that said the N-word with the A, you may wind up in the ER around certain people. These are the same people that want to say that, but then when they get around a group of black people, I guarantee he wouldn't stand on 125 and say that. I guarantee he wouldn't stand on Jackson Avenue in Jersey City and say something similar to that. So that's an ignorant ass comment, and I'm not giving him the energy to continue to spew that. I could care less what Rush Limbaugh says, and I can care less really what that particular reporter says, because at the end of the day, you know, an intelligent white, black, and Hispanic people know that that's sheer ignorance, and we shouldn't give them the light or the time of day to continue to spew that ignorance, because just like you as a reporter, you go after that person that's going to give you that comment that you like. So I'm not going to give them the light that they need in order to keep the ignorance. But what I is focus more on us I would like to, I should say, focus more on us as a community of basically holding ourselves to a higher standard. Because here's the thing, the reason why I think that Rush Limbaugh and this particular other journalist that you spoke about continues to spew these things is because we as a people sometimes give them the ammunition to say something like, see, that's what I'm talking about. When we look at some of these ignorant ass shows that's on TV, where you got a lot of our people sitting up here fighting, this is the thing that they look at and say, see, this is what I'm referring to. I wanted to say this a little bit later, but I'm gonna throw this out there. Right now, the time is 8:54, right? Everybody that's on Facebook, I want to throw out a challenge to you right now. On your Facebook timeline, let's say from the time of about 8 o'clock until about, let's say about 10:30. I'll stop it at 10:30. I want you to count how many ignorant, or I won't even say ignorant, how many posts are about what's going on reality TV, and compare that to something that's for the betterment of the individual, us as a community, or something that's a little bit more positive. And I want you to take those same individuals that are talking about the ignorance that's being portrayed on television and go back a few days and see if they were upset about the decision that was made with this particular case. I understand where you're coming from in regards to these other individuals, but I think that this is the time now where it's more of what we as a people need to do in order to, one, try to change. Now, we're not going to change everybody's mind. Ignorance is ignorance, point blank, or what have you. But again, the confidence that I have in us as a people is fleeting. And I don't want to deal with, this person is saying this person is saying that. We still got ignorant ass people out here, no matter what race that they are. And preferably right now, we're going to see it, ignorant Caucasian individuals. I mean, you got these two people that went to a Trayvon Martin protest with black shirts that said N-word on them. You got one kid in Florida that got hit with water bottles filled with urine, and the white person basically told him to go back to Africa. I can sit here and probably name another 10 different things that have been done, and all of this has been done within the last couple of months. I mean, look at the kid, Jordan. Look at the kid just recently. Granted, the case came out in his favor, but the kid that was killed by his neighbor because of an assumed type of warped mentality to think that he was up to no good.
Yeah, he told him put his hands up. As soon as he put his hands up, he put two in his chest. To kind of piggyback on what you said, I've always said that, I like to have fun. I like to joke and clown. I'm a fun-loving type of cat, and every once in a while I'll post something that's fun-loving. But if I post something serious, it don't get no likes, it don't get no love, nothing. But if I post some bullshit, I get 100 likes. I get a whole bunch of people that'll say something about it. But if I want to speak on something that's about uplifting our people, then I get nothing. And that's go ahead, bro. Well, it just frustrates me.
Say, man, is that this is kind of give a little bit more bolstering to what I said in regards to my frustration on us. We've had, and I know I'm going to not name a few things, and if you could help me out, I would appreciate it. We've had the Million Man March. We've had the Million Woman March. Make
it quick. I want to get the ladies in.
I'm gonna. You and I attended the march on the Federal Building.
Together,
I personally attended the march in Gina, Louisiana. We had the Oscar Grant situation. All of these things have went on in our community, and we've basically, what is going on? We need to change. And guess what? We still had Trayvon Martin. We still had the case against the old boy that I just referred to. We have a number of other situations going on. You got the kid in Florida that got shot in the car because the guy said that he was threatened because there was music blaring from the car next to him or what have you. So, I mean, we have all of these rallies and all of these marches. Now what? The marches that we had on Saturday, they were Saturday afternoon. Today's Monday. What has changed? What is the plan?
Is there
a plan?
You getting some love from Grizzy. He said you going in right now. what I want to do, because there's a lot that I want to get to with regards to this whole situation. Diva, I'm going to come to you on this one. Largely because you and I have had conversations personally as well as on the air about colorism.
Right.
So I'm going to bring up Rachel Gentile. A lot of our people had, with the first day that she was on the stand, you saw our people,
Right.
black people, making fun of her, talking about how she spoke, saying that she was stupid. They were just basically going in on Rachel Gentile. These are the same people who know people who look like Rachel Gentile, who talk like Rachel Gentile, who got Rachel Gentile in their family.
Right.
But they still had the self-hatred that is pervasive in our culture to make fun of her.
Right.
So I'll ask you this. Juror B37 told Anderson Cooper that the only thing that Rachel Gentile said to her that was credible was that Trayvon Martin called George Zimmerman, what did he say, crazy ass cracker? Crazy ass cracker. That was the only thing that she said that was credible. So my question to you is this. Is our self-hate so strong in our community that we going to side with Massa and go ahead and denigrate our own people just so that we can be in line with Massa? Because basically what she said was that she wasn't articulate, which means she wasn't smart.
Okay.
Rachel Gentile speaks 3 languages. She speaks 3 languages.
Right, because she's from another country.
Because she's from another country. Yeah, exactly. You know, so is it our people wanting to be in line with Massa so that we can be okay? Or is it just some other kind of thing that I'm missing? What the hell is going on with that?
Okay, well, we can go through a whole lot of stuff. Gabby Douglas, I mean, we can go through a whole lot of cases where black people are hating on black people and they always have something negative to say. You know, but in this particular situation, I think there's 2 groups of people viewing Rachel Gentile. I think there are those hater people that would talk about Gabby Douglas's hair and her outfit or whatever like that. And then you have some people who were actually listening to Rachel Gentile and was concerned that the way she presented herself could damage the case. I think I kind of fall in that category because I actually watched it. I watched it on YouTube after the case, after the trial. And unfortunately, Rachel Gentile was not ready or prepared to be on that stand. I mean, she really did sound quite ignorant. She did sound like she didn't know what was going on, and they just kept asking her the same questions to trip her up, and it worked. It really did work. Like, she was probably the most damaging witness of all of them on that trial. Not saying she didn't care about Trayvon or whatever, but her presentation was not positive. The way she came across and the way she talked, and she would tell the lawyers, you can go ahead, you know, kind of like she had an attitude. They said, you may have to come back tomorrow. She was like, no, I'm not coming back in here tomorrow, you know, stuff like that. So I think that you have to look at the fact that there are 2 different class of people that may be looking and viewing Rachel Gentile and saying, dang, I wish, you know, she had been more prepared to speak on this case.
As I said, I didn't watch the case, but going by what you have said, I mean, we have to think about both of them. Trayvon was what, 17 years old. These are young people that don't really know how to handle situations like this. She was probably scared she's probably the most white people that she's been around in a long time, you know, and she's Haitian, so there's a lot of hatred for Haitians to other, I'm just saying from what I understand. So she probably was very uncomfortable. Nobody probably took the time to explain to her what's going to happen, and you have to keep your calm, and you know, nobody takes that in mind when they think of her.
Right.
I have people in my family, of course, the Rachel Gentile, she said that she spoke a certain way because of the way her mouth was. She has an underbite. I know plenty of people that have an underbite, and it's hard to understand them sometimes if it's really bad. But nobody cares about that. it's just, I mean, her attitude was the way it was because she was not prepared, and that was the lawyer's fault because they did not prepare.
100% agree with you. The fact that she was unprepared, the fact that the prosecution didn't take the time to prep her and let her know how the etiquette of the courtroom is supposed to work is a big deal. But my issue is us, our self-hatred, because we attacked her verbally on social media and in all of these arenas before the opposition did, you know, and I stood up and I was like, yo, we need to stop doing this. Like, at no point did I think that was cool, because I understood, just like a lot of people understood, that this was Trayvon Martin's friend. She was the one that was on the phone with him, and I'm not going to have a problem with someone because the way they speak, because they're being natural and they're being organic. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how she talk. So because this is how she speaks, you know, she doesn't speak the king's language, and she doesn't speak with the articulation that certain people want to hear. That means that she's not smart. That's crazy to me, because when I come in here and I do Ain't No Half Steppin' Marcus J, I choose to speak in a dialect that is a hybrid of super intelligence and straight hood. I do it on purpose. You know why? Because that's me. That's how I talk. And it depends on how I feel at the moment. If I'm at work and I want to talk hood, if you don't understand me, then it's kind of a you problem. If I'm at home and I want to speak super articulate and Mama J wants to say, Daddy, what does that mean? She might have to go get a dictionary. We look it up together. That's just how it goes. And so when I see our people treating us some kind of way because you want to feel like you better than them, you smarter than them, like, for real, and you see the consequence of that, because you got the jury who fell in line with the same thing.
Again, it's just a sign of ignorance.
I'm sorry, not to cut you off. Did she have to go on TV with the grill? I mean, that was part of the speech impediment right there. That was uncalled for. That really showed a level of herself that was not necessary. Here she is on a nationally syndicated television show. She's not under a lot of pressure. She's probably been prepped with the questions that they're going to ask beforehand. She's out there with her grill. I mean, that's that same person who comes out that they find, oh, a pretty little black woman running into a black man's arms. You know, she's continuing the stigma that the media finds the most whatever black person out there that they can to get an interview with.
Well, let me just address that, because I had the same thought until I paid a little bit more attention and I investigated and I looked and saw that it was braces and not a grill.
It looked like a grill.
It wasn't a grill. It was braces.
Gold braces?
It was braces.
Yo, you know what? This is the problem right here. We're focusing mostly on what our people or our community basically talked about Rachel Gentile, but we're not focusing on the bigger picture. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just was sitting here thinking, like, we're spending a lot of time on, granted, yes, everything that we said was correct. We need to kind of ease up and realize what's going on. But the bigger picture is, what are we going to do? What we going to do, man? What are we going to do? We had a lot of athletes. We just recently had a number of celebrities going to not perform in the state of Florida. Well, there's 23 other states that have this same law that was not used in this case. So, okay, that's understood. What are we going to do as a people to try to, start to make a change within ourselves so that we don't have these people having these preconceived ideas about us?
Dating Pool Diva, what you got?
I just wanted to say that I agree with you, K-Dub, and that we need to move forward. This case is done with, it's over, and we need to think, more of, the actual trial is over. I'm saying we need to move forward as for this not happening again. Marches, protests, whatever we have to do, we need to figure out what's most effective. Do we need to go to the courthouse?
You know what? It's the money. It's the money.
Well, Dub, before you go there, I know where you're going. Hold on to that. Hold up. Wait a minute. Wait. Hold on to that, because I know where you're going, and I'll let you bring that point up. But I want to get in. I want to take a break because there's another direction that I want to take. So we've been in here for a minute on this. Let's take a break. kind of everybody regroup, get our thoughts together. And there's a couple other angles because I still want to ask the question, is this shit about race for real, yo? And what's going on with the president and his comments? I know I dropped the S-bomb. I'm sorry for those people who are offended by that. But, you know, sometimes we get fired up. We promise we won't drop the F-bomb, but we might say the S-word every once in a while. Marcus J, Ain't No Half Steppin. I got Dating Pool Diva, Brandy, Carlton Banks, and K-Dub on the live line. And a special guest in the building who I'll bring in a little while. Marcus J, Ain't No Half Steppin. Be back in a minute.